So you see how we treat African illegal on the scale of 1 to 10. How Africa is treating other Africans who are illegal in their country. I will say maybe 4. Maybe 4. And when the same, if illegal illegals are going to Europe on a scale to 1 to 10, let's be honest on that. How are they treated? I will say 8. 8. Because they have free medical care, they have free consultation, they can go, their children can go to school, they can have free accommodation. It's only I think 2 years ago, or 2 years or 3 years ago, I don't know, that England, because they are overwhelmed with illegal immigrants, I think it's who, Rishi Sunak, the former prime minister, I don't know, who initiated that program of sending illegals who are coming into England to send them to Rwanda. And they will give some money to Rwanda so that they could actually work on that program to welcome these illegals, so that these illegals can start over a new life in Rwanda. They will have skills, they will train them for new skills to be in the workplace or something like that. They have free accommodation, and that is funded by England, I think, at the time. I don't know if this program is still working, but I know I read it somewhere in the news. So Africa on our own, we don't even take care of our own people. When you are stuck abroad, I gave an example. The lady was stuck in Lebanon. Where are the countries, the African ladies who went to work for employers in Lebanon? Lebanon went through what we know, okay? You saw, I show you a documentary or a TV news report of these women who are stuck there. They're from Sierra Leone, they're from some countries in West Africa, and sometimes in East Africa, I think, stuck there in Lebanon or in Saudi Arabia, I think, I don't know, but in Lebanon, Syria. But these ladies are stuck, but they come from a country. Where are these countries? Where are these African countries to take care of them? But the same African countries are welcoming Lebanese refugees in their countries in Africa, but their own people are stuck there. Does it make sense to you? Does it really make sense to you? I don't know. So, witchcraft in Europe was something that Europeans were tracking witches and were burning them. It's a fact. I read it in Victor Hugo books, and later on I saw it. It was true. In Africa, I've never seen that we are tracking witches, but we know that they are doing wrong to the people. God hates chiromancy, people reading cards. He hates it. In the Bible, it is said, when King Saul went to read with a medium his destiny, what happened? God, who himself called him to become king, God said, you know what? It's enough. It's enough. People feel amazed when someone who read cards on their life or on their hands. But it makes sense. These people work with familiar spirits. Who are the familiar spirits? They are demons. Demons who have been assigned to you from the day you were born. We have the same thing for Christian. The Bible says that God already gave you some angels. When my grandmother passed away, okay, it's a story. It's really something happened. My grandmother on my mother's side, she was a prayer warrior. She loved God. And my grandfather, who was a teacher at the time and worked for his city, he later on dropped everything. And yeah, because he had responsibility in the city where he was from. Then he left his position, and he had a call for God to become pastor and missionary. He was going to place preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. My grandfather on my mother's side. So here's why my grandmother was a prayer warrior. She was praying. The day she had an accident, she slid in the bathroom, the bathtub. You know, when you are older, bathtub is not something that you should be recommended. So my grandfather was really broken. So she went through a coma. At sometimes they sent her to the hospital when my mom was working, and my mom was having time to go and see her and taking care of her, and with the doctors and the team who were working with her. And my mom that night couldn't be there because that day she wasn't on call at the hospital, so she was tied between the on call and also we as children, because my father was often traveling because of his job. So she would be really exhausted because she was the one who could often enter the room where my grandmother was. Her brother and sister couldn't really enter, but they were trying to pray and see her, and for a short amount of time. The night when my grandmother died, I think she had a worship song that she liked a lot, a hymn. The song says, the one who believes in Jesus should put all his trust and his faith in him. And if you feel that you are tired, exhausted, or whatever reason, keep hanging to the cross, to Jesus. The song says something like that, and she was singing it in my native language. My mom knew that she was singing that before. She started being a little bit aware, little by little, so people thought that she would probably leave the hospital, but no, because that night my mom went back home and she went to sleep to rest a little bit, so she would go back to the hospital and see my grandmother. But at the time there weren't cell phones. Okay, we talk about the late 80s. So one of her colleagues, Tim, okay, she was on call that night, and she slept. She rested a little bit because in the hall there are many patients who were sleeping, and my grandmother was one of the bedrooms of the room of the hospital, and she was alone. The lady slept, and as she slept, she wasn't questioned. As she slept, she saw. She felt that she was taken to, like her body was, like her soul or her spirit was leaving her body, and she was standing in the hall of the hospital. She saw people running, rushing, like big number of people. They were like with dirty clothes. She couldn't understand. They didn't look clean at all. They were rushing to the room. And when they looked the room they were rushing to, they were going to my grandmother's room. At that moment, she was like, where are they going? Where are they going? Where are they rushing to? And suddenly they stopped, like they were scared or something. She saw a man who was dressed in light. There was light in that person. He was told he had light. An angel. That angel, that archangel, I think it was an archangel for sure. He stood in front of the door of my grandmother. He told them, it's not your place here. She doesn't belong to you. Go back. At that moment, the nurse, she woke up like that. She heard like the alarm of my grandmother in the room. She was gone. I just want to show you that the spiritual realm is not a joke. Okay? There are people who feel like it's a joke. They are manipulating spirits and everything. But I'm telling you, the result is not. They reclaim your body. The Bible is clear. If you some of you heard the question, okay, they reclaim the bodies. And if you're not with God, they will take your body to where you'll be going. If you serve them, you will go with them. So, what is witchcraft according to God? Witchcraft is what we go to Google to know what witchcraft is. The practice, according to the Bible, witchcraft is the practice of communicating with evil spirits or the dead to gain knowledge, power, or spirituality. Okay? Now, what are the things that God hates? God hates idolaters, liars, murderers, sexually immoral people. Not that he hates, but he hates the action, the sin. Those who practice magic arts, those who engage in fits of anger, rivalries, dissension, division, and envy, and those who engage in drunkenness and orgy. In Africa, we drink a lot. So according to the Bible, it's a type of witchcraft, orgies, and magic arts. So we're going to read some verse quickly. We are going to take few verse, okay? Few verse. I told you earlier that King Saul was chosen by God, but he did something that was a no return for him. It's when he went to consult a medium, the woman he went to consult. That's God said, you know what? You're done. I will look for another king. And the next king was already David. David was already announced by God to become the king. Make it clear to King Saul that you are done, because he went to see a medium. It tells you how God feels about witchcraft, okay? So Saul died because, this is 1 Chronicles 10 verse 13, Saul died because he was unfaithful to the Lord. He did not keep the word of the Lord and even consulted a medium for guidance. In Africa, we call them marabout, people that you go to see for consultation. In Africa, people go to see them often. There are those who have it as a culture. It is bad. It is bad.